We light it up like arson and sauce and sauce. We light it up like arson and sauce and sauce. Fli-City got some dogs in it, dogs in it, dogs. Fli-City come off authentic, authentic. We light it up like arson and sauce and sauce. We light it up like arson and sauce and sauce.
My city experiencing a transition from penny pinching, maximizing our dollars, multiply triple digits. I came a long way from baby jars in a project kitchen.
Of course, man, we got the election coming up.
Yeah.
Right, we got some special guests in the studio today. So let's get some insight. Let's introduce our guests and
Yes, sir.
let's say a few words about you.
Ladies first.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Claudia Perkins,
Mhm.
and I am a candidate for the 6th Ward City Council. I am a mother of 3. I'm a lifelong resident. I co-manage at the highest level, the Delphi plants, which used to be AC spark plugs.
Mhm.
I have been an activist my entire adult life, and I'm running to make positive change.
Okay.
Okay.
Good enough, good enough. And you, my brother, will introduce yourself to the listening audience?
Yeah, I'm Dennis Pfeiffer. I'm running for the 8th Ward seat. I'm just running because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired like everybody else. I'm just blessed that I can be here with you guys and hopefully have some good dialogue and share some good ideas.
I'd like to, and again, a lot of times people get so twisted about, PhDs and all these degrees. But a lot of times it comes down to the commitment and wanting to do something about really being serious about loving your community. And I think a lot of times people get involved in a lot of situations and it's only for either a certain amount of income, but really not for some of the heart and soul that goes into a lot of this work. So to hear you just say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, I commend you, for wanting to, throw your hand in the race to want to make a difference. And that's a beautiful thing to hear.
Because all too often, man, a lot of times, I think even when we were discussing earlier, man, it's like people just like tired. People just tired of the same old stuff. People come in here and say they're gonna do this, right? They want to run and create change. They want to run on truth, power, and transparency and all that other crap. They don't really do it, right? I think other people and everybody else kind of see through that stuff now, so we become very numb to it, and it doesn't even impact us anymore, right? So it's like you got to be something different than what we have been getting before. We're gonna respect anything that you got to say or represent for us. So let's dig right on in, right? So of course you got the 6th and the 8th, right? The 6th Ward is definitely a ward that we want to make sure that we support and have some opportunities because it's a business sector in the 6th Ward. We want to also support those folks that's out there in the neighborhoods. There's a lot of homeowners in those areas. So,
Yes.
big tax breaks, what we talked about. And then also the 8th, right, which is, the 8th Ward is definitely a mixed ward, right? You got businesses, you got families, you got those things as well. So you two tell us from your perspectives, what's going on in the world, what you think is going on in that ward, and what is your plan of action?
Well, for me in the 6th Ward, we're dealing with majorly the same things, I think, across the city. We got blight, we got crime, we got a lack of schools. We got drag racing, people running stop signs. We have so many things, empty buildings, rodents running every which way but loose. We have all those things to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I am so sick and tired of turning on the radio or the TV and listening to the city council arguing, fussing, and fighting. And they never seem to get to the nitty gritty for the constituents in the city of Flint.
Right.
And it's time out for that. And so I decided to run because I'm about positive change.
Mm-hmm.
I like I said, at the highest level, I co-manage the Delphi plants. And so it was a no nonsense situation because when I went into the business back in the 70s, it was predominantly white male oriented.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to claw my way up to the top, and I did that.
Right.
So I've encountered just about every and anything that you could as far as fighting your way and clawing your way to the top. I've endured the racism, the sexism, the good old boy and girl-ism, all the isms. And so there's not much I haven't done. I've been around the world in the news media. I have led 10 major strikes. I've been hit with tear gas on picket lines. I've fought for the rights of everyday people. And so since I had that kind of a background, I decided, you know what? The only way to make positive change is start with you. And so I'm starting with me. And then I decided I'm going to run and try and make a positive difference, positive turnaround, positive change. We need that. Right. Now, I have worked with my block club. I'm a real active member in my block club with Mary Joyce Campbell. And I've worked with her on the Clean and Green. I have worked in the community while we were out cleaning up neighborhoods. They asked me to fix food, and I fed, some of our members in the community that were working. I've done it all. I've ridden with Mary Joyce and looked at some abandoned houses and things like that, took pictures of them. We do a lot of stuff together, and we all want the same thing, a clean, safe community. And that's what it's about. And I can look back through time and space and remember when we had it really going on. I don't want the downtown area to just look okay. I want the north end of Flint to look okay as well. And we got a lot of work to do in order to turn that place around. I remember when we had the north end theaters, we had bowling alleys, we had roller skating rinks, we had the Flint amusement park. We had all of those things, but a lot of these kids don't know about it, because of course they weren't born and some of them are too young. But we had all of those things, and I think we can be the comeback kids. I think we can turn this place around with the right people on the board. So I'm advocating for certain people because I believe in them. I believe they want the same things that I want, and that's positive change. So that's the reason that I'm running in the sixth.
Okay, now when you mention about, positive change and that type of energy, how much have you been engaged in, listening to, your constituents as far as going door to door, really finding out the heartbeat of the people in that area? Because again, a lot of times people get in positions. And a lot of times they say what I'm going to do as opposed to what's the needs of the people, specifically in that ward, and then collectively for the city.
Well, we've had, I've actually personally put on meet and greets and brought people together. And I told them my concerns, and I told them I wanted to hear their concerns. I want to set aside a certain amount of time when I'm seated to where they can come and talk directly to me. They can do that even now. I've done a lot of work even before I'm seated in the community. I've done the cleanups, not only in my ward, but in the second ward with Audrey Young Muhammad. I was over there cleaning up with her and a young lady named Eartha Logan. So I've done a lot of cleanups. I've worked with the Clean and Green with my block club president. I have put on, as I said, 3 fun days from my church and in Ballinger Park. And I've been to the block club meetings in other areas in my in my area.
Okay.
We have 4 block club presidents.
Mhm.
I have met with all of them. I've talked with all of them. They wanted to have interviews. I did those.
Okay.
I have been engaging,
Okay.
and I've been knocking doors even today. I've been out.
When you say you've been engaging in all those things, honestly, what could you say? Because we have seen over since the 60s or 70s, when you look at the percentage of people that are really voting, and what do you think is going on in our community with the apathy or the lack of real engagement and being aware of what the candidate's standing for, what some of the policies and millages are, and about our community being astute legislatively, really understanding the mechanisms of the power of their vote and how that translates to real resources.
Okay, I, being a former union rep, have a lot of reach, if you will. I mean, I have resources at my disposal, like Congressman Kildee, both congressmen, Dale and Dan. I was very close with a lot of the politicians because when you command 13,000 votes, and I had a service record of being elected from 1987 until 2006. So I've serviced a lot of people in this community, and a lot of people across the way, they know my work. And so they have a certain amount of confidence in my abilities because I've always been true to my word.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go to them, they stop and listen. And when they come to me, I stop and listen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a door that swings both ways. Now, I love this community. I raise my children here. I worship here. I do it all. And so when I speak, they really listen.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that because I appreciate them. And we all want positive change. And then I explained to them about the different things. Like the other day, I went to the redistricting over at the Doherty Event Center.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was crucial. There was a whole room of us, everybody from the concerned pastors to the heads of the Democracy Defense League, of which I'm a member, to just a lot of clergy, Reverend Threlkale, Reverend Harris, and I can't think of his other pastor's name. It eludes me, but he was there and he knows who he is. And you just had people from all over. And especially, I was so proud because the UAW was in full force. And it wasn't just African Americans speaking. It was a litany of people from every background.
Okay.
And they were speaking up for Flint as a whole because what they wanted to do was split Flint in half, which would take away our representation, especially in the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
And we were not going to have that, any of us, because Flint has been hurt enough.
Mm-hmm.
They have stripped us of everything. Our garbage trucks, our Santa on top of the city hall, they've given away everything.
Yeah,
But the barn,
I'm in favor of giving that away.
And, but I'm just saying, I'm just saying.
We got to tap. You're absolutely right. When we talk about the resources of Flint, we talk about Flint resources. We're talking about selling away our assets. I know we was under receivership with the emergency manager back a couple years ago, and we had to sell all our trucks, assets, things like that.
That's right.
Dennis, right? What same thing, right? You got a different ward. You in the eighth. You got black and white, right? People want to know what is your direction and what is your emphasis or impact on city council if you're there in the eighth ward?
Well, I think the problems aren't too different from ward to ward. I think everybody has crime problems. Somebody was murdered this morning in the eighth ward. They have blight problems. We have, houses that are sitting vacant that the land bank won't do anything about. While, there may be a different race aspect in other wards, we all have the same issues and we all have the same goals. We want to piggyback off Ms. Perkins, we want positive change, but we want it to be generational change. And we need something long lasting. We can't have this fly by night change and fake politicians that are all words. We need people to put their nose to the grindstone put their head down and grind it out, and get the job done. You know, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Man, you know, and that's what it comes down to, man. You know, we've been lied, bamboozled. We've been having folks come in, supposed to be our saviors, tell us all these grandiose ideas, but they ain't work for them, right? So, you know, 8th and the 6th Ward, they got the same similar situation that they're dealing with, black crime, and, you know, folks who really need relief. You know, we hoping this year, you know, even with this new city council, we do know voting is November 2nd. So we want to make sure that we have everybody out there voting November 2nd. I don't care if you need to catch a ride. I don't know if you need to go ahead and make sure you need to help somebody else get there. But more or less, we need to raise that percentage of voters turn out here in the city. You be having like 10% in the city at 80,000 plus. It's really unacceptable for us to really have 1,000, 2,000 people turn out. That is a slap in the face for all our ancestors that fought for us, who want to continue to make sure that we have a voice and be at the table, and then just be in there, right? You know what I'm saying? Stop complaining if you ain't gonna do nothing about it. So that's where we come to the frustration as well. We are not being served.
That's right. And one of the things that I think we really need to do is get back to training. Training. When I was an officer of the Greater Flint A. Philip Randolph Institute, we specialized in the GOTV, Get Out the Vote. And we educated our communities so tough that by the time the election came, we swept right through it. And we were number one in the nation 2 consecutive times. We've got to go back to the old way and do some things better. We've got to get these children on board. We've got to train them in the schools. One of my passions is open up some of these buildings and put some schools back in there with a good sound curriculum that the kids are graduating. They can't read, they can't write in cursive. A young man came to my house and he begged me almost in tears, would you show me how to sign my name on his check? He didn't know how to do it. So I had to try and teach him in just about a half hour. It broke my heart.
Oh, it did.
And these are the things I'm talking about. I love children. I've been a youth director my whole adult life. And my children were a part of my youth groups. And in fact, I had a youth group and I was UAW. So I wrote a labor play. And Lorene Randall, I don't know if you remember her husband, Frank Randall. He was a jazz musician in the city of Flint. But anyway, Lorene and I wrote a labor play and we went to Las Vegas by way of the UAW. And they flew 11 students, myself and Lorene out there to the national, and we were the national entertainment. Those children were trained properly. And they got 3 standing ovations, and they had dinner with Medgar Evers' wife, Merle Evers Williams. These are the things that I'm talking about. See, I know what can be done. We just have to put forth the effort and really stop talking about it and be about it. And that's where I'm at. You know, I'm a doer. I'm not just a talker. And I've got a proven record, you know.
No, actually, you know, for those who don't know, I know the work that you have been doing over the years. I've been, you know, working with you and, you know, just been seeing the impact. So I think that's kind of sealed. You know? So everybody in the 6th Ward, I think, you know, you should pay attention to the folks. Don't pay attention to people that just come around when it's necessary or when it feels good or when it's camera times or it's those type of activities. Forget all that. You understand the work that these people are putting forth. Look at their track record. Look at some of the things they have contributed to, right? Some of the groups they're part of. So you get some inside information about that. Let's turn it to Dennis too, man, because we got you in here. We want to see.
Look, she's got a lot of ideas.
We got a whole round of this, man.
She's good.
But like Dennis, listen, man, you coming on the block, right? You know, people want to know about you. You know, they probably don't know too much about them. They heard the name, family name. Tell us some background about you. Let us know about who you are.
I don't have near the resume as Ms. Perkins, so I'm going to disappoint a lot of people right there. But
that's cool.
No,
nobody got it.
I hear you. You know, I've been born and raised in Flint. You know, I left for 5 years. Went down and worked right after Hurricane Katrina. So I've seen devastation, and I've seen, you know, people come together and fix it. And that's what we need. You know, we need good, strong leaders that can bring people together to fix our problems, because, you know, we're down the road, you know, down the path of 100% negativity,
Mm-hmm.
but we can change that around. We can flip it around
Right.
and bring people together and change it. We're going to need a lot of help.
Mhm.
We're going to need, we're going to need help from every corner that we can get it.
We really need a healing. First, we need a healing in Flint. Maybe we need to do a citywide prayer vigil. I don't know, but something has to turn these children around. They're killing each other. This fentanyl. I buried 3 people that died from fentanyl.
We've taken God out of schools.
Yeah,
and
taking the God out of schools and everything, off the money and everything else. And that was always a problem as far as I'm concerned. We used to get up and say the Pledge of Allegiance when we were in school and things like that and have a prayer. And we would just, had cultural things, home economics, art, the arts, all of those things are gone. And nobody's going to come in our neighborhoods and fix that. So we got to do it. We've got to do some things.
We got to bring back values and, put that in front of the children today. And, I'm a strong believer that family comes first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I've been fortunate enough that, I've with my job, I travel a lot, and I've been fortunate enough that my wife has been able to stay home and raise the kids. And every day, I thank God that I'm blessed in order to do that, so that we can have, strong people in the community that know family values, that can bring back the lost generation, if we will, because, the strong father in the home is something that we need to get back to.
Oh man, listen, you talking gospel right now.
Yeah.
What church you going to, man?
So I don't necessarily want to get into that right now.
But seriously about the fathers in the home, man, I champion that. That's
Right,
big.
right.
You need them fathers back in the home as head of household,
That's
being
right.
a part of it, raising the children, taking the children to school. They 50-50, right? It's
Right.
never been all
100.
dependent on 100. It's
100.
never been dependent on the mother, right?
Right.
But give big shout outs to all our ladies, our women that's been holding it down for centuries.
Thank you.
I grew up, my mom,
Come on, now.
single family mom, grew
What
up.
we do, yeah.
I mean, me and my brother was single family moms
See?
my whole life.
See?
Mhm, mhm.
So you appreciate it.
I know the value because, obviously I had, grandfather and uncles and everything else that tried to step in, but
Right.
you can't replace that.
Right.
And I honestly have been working on prison reform. That's one major thing because I know we have a pipeline to prison, especially with Black men. And I have worked in prison reform, and I had some people that I represented at Delphi. And one was Miko, Michael Thompson, AKA Miko. And I spoke at his parole hearing. I wrote some commutations for him, and now he's free. And although I don't, smoke cannabis, but now he's the face of it, and he's traveling all over the world now.
You
As
ain't
that.
never been no cannabis.
No, I don't get high. I get high off Jesus. I get high off Jesus. Yeah, because your cousin is my pastor. You do.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna have good.
Yeah.
Weed or not.
So, but anyway, we got to get back to some basics.
Didn't we just smoke? Wasn't that weed that we just smoked?
Come on, Big D.
No, that might be you and your dream, but that wasn't the queen there. No. But anyway, but some things we just got to get back to.
Right.
I'm about positive change, and I would love to see this place turn around.
Come
But
on, now.
collectively, we can do it. I can't do it by myself. Dennis can't do it by himself, but
Right.
collectively, if we get enough good people on that board, we can do some restructuring, and I'm about that. Another thing that it just gets on my last nerve is the land bank. For a
man, they get on
long
all our
time,
nerves.
they get on all our nerves.
Everything.
Yeah, the land bank.
Great.
I had people that would go and try and buy, property right next to theirs, adjacent to, and they wouldn't let them buy it or lease it. But people out of the state, they would readily give it to.
They call them speculators.
Yes,
Speculate.
whatever they are, they need to get gone, and we need to take over our community.
Now I got a question there. So how or who can we get rid of land bank wait a minute before you answer, where we as Flint residents are controlling that.
Well, I guess we were gonna have to do some legislative things.
Well, you said you know the Kildees and all.
I
these
do.
people, so
I do, I don't have a problem going to them and
I'm
asking them
asking a
either.
question. Does Kildee or someone in legislative have the power to say we need to mandate that land bank be dissolved and then Flint takes over? Is that how does that work?
I really can't answer that 100%. What I
Okay.
can tell you is that I do know Deborah Cherry, and she sits on the board. I
The
understand.
Board of Land Bank?
Yes, and I do know that they have a new director, and maybe,
Dennis County.
yes, and I know I know we can go to them and talk to them. You know, the only thing I know to be the failure is to try, and yes, I do know Dan Kildee really well. And I don't have a problem going to him and find out what the procedure is and report back to you. I don't have issues like
How
that.
about you, Dennis? What is the makeup? How did Land Bank become as this powerful entity that has no regards for anybody else?
Well, it's like that by design.
Come on now, speak on it.
It's trying to depopulate the city. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing. They're
Mhm.
holding,
Mhm.
you know, I've talked about this before, they're holding properties hostage.
Mhm.
People are wanting those homes, they're wanting to move in, they're wanting to, you know, there's people stopping us from getting our population and our tax
That's right.
base up.
Deliberately.
It's by design. And I think, you know, the land bank may have a use in the out county for whatever else, because those municipalities might not have the wherewithal or the knowledge or the willingness to deal with abandoned and foreclosure homes. But I think in Flint, we need to have first right of refusal on
That's right.
any home that
That's
comes
right.
up.
Okay.
And, you know, how that needs to happen legislatively, I don't know, but it needs to happen.
That's
So,
right.
can the council, if you guys are on the city council, is that something that you guys can work on as far as some type of amendment or set aside?
So it's a state agency that is run by the county,
That's
so
right.
there's some legislative hurdles,
Mhm.
but with enough voices, loud enough voices, we
That's
can
what
make
I was gonna
change.
say. Yeah,
So that's a
Wow.
concentrated effort that I do feel that everybody in Flint will be behind.
Yeah,
So if you have the majority on Flint City Council, which folks don't know, Flint is supposed to have the first dibs on the properties in Flint
that's right.
yeah.
before the land bank.
Oh, yeah.
So what we would need as our city council representatives is to get on board, establish a plan to be able to be in receivership to take those properties first,
Mhm.
and then be able to create more homeowners. We don't need more apartments. We don't need more
Right.
50-year
No.
tax abatements
No,
Right.
for new builds. We
No.
don't need that no more.
No.
We need to
Right.
be able to create generational wealth. The best way to do that is passing down through properties. So we can be able to establish homeowners, give folks even the necessary know-how to even be a homeowner.
Mhm.
and I want to say something. I was the recipient of a dollar house. And I think, yes, I raised families in that house. What we had to do, it was just like a lottery. You put your number, that you had a ball that you put in the hopper, and you had the adjacent number.
Mhm.
They crank it up, and if your ball rolled out, and mine did, I won the house on Flint Park Boulevard, and I raised families in that house. I was able to help people because I didn't have a house note, but I paid my taxes. I had to bring that house up to code.
Mhm.
I had to live in it for X amount of years.
Mhm.
I did all of those things. And if we put people in some of these abandoned houses like that, with the stipulations that they have to meet all the requirements, we'll build our tax base back up in this city and repopulate this place.
Mhm.
You know, there are some things that we gotta think outside of the box. You know, I'm a visionary.
Mhm.
I don't just look at it like for what I see. I go outside and I think on what it could be.
Mhm.
If I do this, what could it potentially become?
Yeah, I think.
And those are the kinds of things we gotta start doing. But again, we have to come together as a community. We have to come together, and together we can.
Now, one thing about, and we're proud that you guys will be elected to city council. Is there a carve-out or a possibility with you, Dr. D, and you, Queen, that, because there's such ignorance or many people don't have information, would it be part of your responsibility to have like an open conversation for educational purposes, like for the community to learn more about the functioning of city council, since we don't have civics in school anymore.
That's right.
And then another aspect of, or would that be too much to ask for a city council to be dealing with? Then another thing, when we think about, the housing, we have homeless, we have returning citizens. What does that really look like when you think about resources and how resources are allocated, especially when we have crime, because most people are drawn to crime to say more policing, lock up, as opposed to resources that are going towards returning citizens, homeless people, those people that may not have a clue about and want to be homeowners, want to be engaged in, legacy, but because of, as Dennis said earlier when we was talking, generations of just no idea about how to do it. When you think about how drugs intentionally been put in our community for 3 generations since the 80s, and you're saying, well, how can anyone function when they can't read? A lot of these barriers are in their places. So how do we start working to think outside the box, like Queen was saying, to really allow some of these barriers to be addressed? What do you think, Dave? I know that's a big question.
That's a lot to take in. Barriers aren't gonna come down anytime soon. So we gotta try to figure out how to go over around those barriers.
Like that.
We need to the drug aspect that you mentioned. I don't know how the audience or you folks feel about it, but I think that marijuana has, and by them bringing it in, I know it's legal and a lot of people do it, but I think it breeds poverty. And I think that now that a lot of people are, it's like a liquor store in my perspective. Liquor and spending that money on that, it breeds poverty. That's the reason why there's liquor stores in the most impoverished communities. And then now they're bringing that with marijuana dispensaries. They're trying to put those in the most impoverished or poverty areas. It's to keep people down. It's to keep people, stuck in their ways,
Medicated.
so they don't rise up, so they don't try to do it.
Right. That's good.
Well, I can vow now on my watch. There are certain things I vowed that I would never do. There would never be another liquor store on my watch. If I had to vote on it, you can go to Grand Blanc, Birmingham, Flushing, Benton. You don't see them on every corner.
No.
As soon as our kids get up and they walk to the school, they got to walk past 100 million liquor stores and that. We got to care more about our, and I'm not going to be bought and paid for by anybody. Do you hear what I'm telling you?
Let's take it there.
I'm going to take it right there because I'm going to tell you, I didn't accept any dirty money or dark money, whatever they've been talking about this past week.
Dark-hearted dollars is low.
I'm not one that did it.
No.
I don't owe anybody but God. That's it.
Somebody got this.
That's all I owe. Do you hear me now? And so I can stand flat-footed and say what I will and won't do. I think for myself. I don't care if it's Kate Fields, Eric May. I don't care who it is. If I don't agree with it, if I don't think it's right for the constituents, it ain't happening. And I'll speak on that.
Now, when you say that,
when
you say that, because is there a possibility, like you said, is there a possibility when you said you got a liquor store here, a liquor store here, and a liquor store here, is there a possibility where the city council can put an ordinance in where we can close these two?
So
in a mile, you got 20 liquor stores. So is there a way we can close all these liquor stores?
We can't physically close them. We can put ordinances on to restrict them. The liquor license is granted by the state. We can put ordinances, and I'm fully for.
And miles apart, like there's certain.
Because they're going to be grandfathered in. So that's a separate issue that we'll have to address in a different manner. but we can stop new ones from coming in.
That's what my point
We can
is.
stop new ones.
We can
from
stop
coming
new
in.
ones from coming in, and I'm all for that.
And a lot of these liquor stores, I know the ones in my neighborhood are right next to a house. So a lot of them stay open till midnight, 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
You can't function and be a safe neighborhood where,
Mm,
you
yeah,
know,
traffic.
with the traffic, I talked to the gentleman across the street from one, and he literally sits outside and 2 a.m. they're coming in, 90 mile an hour to the parking lot. They've got their music blasting. And there's, people that's got to work in the morning.
That's
There's kids that got to get up for school in the morning.
Mm.
The liquor stores should be provisioned by, noise ordinances. And, if there's the noise ordinance is 10 p.m.,
Mm-hmm.
they need to close down. at 10
That's
p.m.
right. That's
Now,
right.
I'm on a problem. We talk about we have too many liquor stores and we have too many churches in
Yes.
this city, right? So when we talking about ordinance, right? Because that's what city council is expected to do, create ordinance. Even as community members, we can create ordinance, right?
Yep.
And push them to our representatives,
Mhm.
right? Our thing is we do need to do something strategically about addressing liquor stores. If not, closing them, we can limit them.
Yep.
Right? And lighten the impact.
That's
That's
right.
what we're dealing with right now.
We can make it difficult for them to
Function and operate.
Right.
So,
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
and it's not about stepping on nobody's toes. I'm a businessman too, so it's never about that, right? It's just about what we need and what benefits our city at this current
To
time.
heal, like the Queen was saying, it's about healing. And we
That's
want to
right.
go back to doing some things that we know that we perfected before all
Yeah.
this mess that happened.
We have been studied. That's the first thing. We have been
To
studied
death.
to death. And now they know how to combat us. And we're not
Yeah.
smart enough to stick together and turn it around.
No, we
But we
just
need to
choose because our own personalities and personal vendettas and egos that we choose not to be unified. But we are
Yeah.
smart to be unified.
That's right.
And we understand, like you think about this world, it's the 1% that operate this whole world. If we are the 99 and we say like, all right, we're gonna band together, then we can rise up against that 1%. It doesn't win in a capitalistic world when the 99 or the folks at the bottom do not play the game.
That's right.
It's no
It
different
falls
than,
in.
it's no different than the dark money that is coming in right now, funding all of these mailers to support
Yeah.
their candidates. That's
Yeah.
the 1% trying to control everybody.
Mhm.
Right. So we have to do our due diligence and be an educated community, being engaged and being involved, but having these conversations that spark something out of it.
Yeah.
That's where we are now
Right.
because we're not dumb and we're not destitute. Like this Flint is at a Flint is at a right place.
Phoenix.
Yeah,
Phoenix, man.
we at a right place where
Phoenix
we can.
rises from the ashes.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
man.
Listen,
Right.
and you want to be a part of this research. And
Right.
that's what we're saying with the leadership is going to be so vital in November moving forward. But we need y'all to stay strong because sometimes people get in position and then they forget about how they got there. They forget about the people that brought them to the party.
Mm.
So let's talk about this. Like this city council was crazy, right? And I gotta be honest with you. Them fools
Yeah.
is silly. And this is where it hurts us as constituents. Because at the end of the day, constituents are supposed to be in leadership role because our elected officials work for us.
That's
We
right.
are the employer.
And they
We have to
forget
act
that.
like that.
They
And we
forget
have to
that.
hold them accountable. So that's holding Neely accountable. That's holding Eric Mays accountable. That's
Mhm.
holding Kate Fields accountable. That's holding everybody up there accountable because we put you there to do the work.
That's right.
Not to sit up there, fight, argue, and just be on one side, white against black. What's up with that, Dennis? Talk
Yeah,
about that. Now
right.
we gotta get real deep about that.
Right.
It's really on council is white against black.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
What the heck is going on?
If I knew.
Ignorance.
It's
Ignorance in the
ignorance.
first degree.
It's people stuck in their ways. It's people that don't want to have a conversation.
Right.
It's people that, it's really people that are good salespeople that get in the first place, that get in that position in the first place.
Mhm.
I agree. I gotta agree.
To your point about being bought and sold, forget where you came from,
Mhm.
except for, I took a donation from the Landlords Association.
Okay.
Because I think landlords association, if they disappear, that's more houses that's gonna go to the land bank. So I fully support what they're trying to do. The more people that they can keep in those houses to keep taxes in, it's gonna do great.
Are these landlords local?
They're local. They maybe, live, in Fenton, wherever else, but they're local. They're not. they're not out to.
I just want that problem that we had with them apartments on Pearson. When the guy was taking that money,
That's
he was
right.
taking them folks' rent, and water is included, so they didn't pay them
So
water.
Genesee County landlords is individual housing.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
and in the 6th Ward, we went canvassing today,
Okay.
and we stopped and asked the construction people
Mm-hmm.
if someone had bought the property, and they said yes, and we knew that, I knew that. But they're working on so many units, and then they're gonna open that particular unit and then go to another bank of them, and they're trying to redo those apartments in Sunset Village.
Okay.
People were concerned about that. And so was I, because I wanted them, a demolition to go over there. But after they said that it had been sold, we want the people, whoever it is, to restore them, fix them, get good people in there.
Mm-hmm.
They need to have a screening process for anything and everything in this city. Because some people, even in my community, in my neighborhood, there's a difference in a homeowner than there is a renter. We got some of the nastiest people, garbage,
Mm-hmm.
sky high. They don't have the same feeling, the same respect for their neighbors and all of those things because they don't own it.
We just gotta recreate the village.
We got to.
Sometimes
The village
people
needs
feel like
to come
they've been,
back.
and
Well,
people feel like they've been
first.
outcasted. You know what I'm saying? You're on the outside looking in. Hey, listen, I don't own this stuff, man, so it don't matter. You
Yeah.
probably gonna try and kick me out anyway. People feel like that,
Mhm.
and they gonna act like that.
Mhm.
But I wanted to say the Landlord Association, I think Becky Brown was saying that it's a decent organization. So we
Other than 2 other friends, that's the only donation I've taken. I'm putting my money where my mouth is.
Mhm.
Like I'm
raising your own funds, your own effort.
I'm using my own money.
Yeah.
You can't buy me.
Me
You
either.
can't buy me.
Me either.
Like I got no interest other than having safe neighborhoods, clean neighborhoods for my family to grow up in. I got no other, I don't know anybody, anything other than to my community.
Listen, I stand strong on those principles.
Me too.
You
Family
can't be bought,
values have got
you
to
can't
come
be
back.
bought, and you got your own flow going on. That's why I always encourage all of, just in general, everybody, man, have your situations together.
Mhm.
You don't have to depend on somebody, sprinkling a few dollars for you to do some crazy stuff,
Mhm.
right? So back to the original thing about the city council, right? It's divided. And so you got the whites,
Yep.
which is Kate, Eva, Griggs, Santino, and sometimes Herbert Winfrey, right? I don't know if
He's a swing vote.
he's a swing vote, right? You know what I'm saying? Brother, you're black. You know what I'm saying? So throw that out there.
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas. But the thing is, but then also you got the other side. You got Jerry Winfrey Carter, you got Eric Mays, you got Monica Galloway, and Maurice Davis now. Sometimes I don't know what way Maurice is going. You got that type of setup. Listen, I'm like this, right? Now is at the time to say, okay, we all in this together, right? But we gotta respect, the different situations, right? So the black community has a certain need. The black community has put in their work. They worked this country and built it up for the past 400 years, and we feel like we've been slighted.
Sure.
We have been.
And we have been. And so the point of the matter is, we never asked for a handout.
Mhm.
We never wanted that. But what we wanted is a fair opportunity at the buy. That was it. And so what we have on city council, you have people that really just look at it from a standpoint of this side versus that side, instead of saying, okay, how can I make this make sense for everybody? Logically.
Mhm.
So you,
Yep.
I'm in A4. What is your motive? Is that your mindset? Do we have to look at it as a point? Do you look at it as a point that, hey, listen, I got to roll with this group because this is my kind?
Well, no, because I don't care what skin color you want.
Okay.
I mean, I don't. That has no bearing on anything. I mean, like I said before, I want safe neighborhoods. I want clean neighborhoods. There's I think, I don't know who we spoke to earlier about, I think it was you, Dwan, about the elderly community.
Mm-hmm.
My big thing is home values.
Mhm.
Home value, there's a lot of elderly people, and we talked about them earlier, about if they leave, we are in,
Done.
we're done.
Mhm.
Shut the doors,
Mhm.
the city's done.
Yeah. Yes.
And a lot of folks rely on their home values
Mhm.
for the retirement,
Mhm.
for their generational wealth.
Right.
And the longer that we allow blight to fester, the longer we allow the crime to be a nuisance, it's gonna drive those values down. It's gonna drive those elderly, those people that were middle class back in the day, it's gonna drive them into poverty. It's gonna drive them to leave. And it's gonna drive, that generational wealth to disappear. And we have to stop it, not a Band-Aid. We gotta put a full gauze on to stop that. Because, I can't tell you the amount of people that leverage their home value
Oh, yeah.
to live.
Yeah.
Reverse
You gotta
mortgage,
reverse
mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
And we have to stop that. And, one, if we stop the home values from decreasing, it increases the tax base. So it's better services, it's more services, it's allowing the city to heal.
Mhm.
So
And even when
That's my
Dennis
thing.
say that, and see, that's where I'm trying to get you guys to kind of feel how important it is to do whatever we can to capture the land bank, because that's cousins right there.
Mhm.
If we can start getting our own property and redeveloping, and that's a tax base
Oh, yeah.
So,
for legacy.
so
Right,
to your
right.
point, and Ms. Perkins said that she had a dollar house, that should come back.
Yeah,
And we have a lot of homes that are in disrepair.
Right.
And we can kill two birds with one stone, not to say that because we have a lot of violence and don't like using the word kill.
By
But-
the word. We don't use by the word.
Right.
And then-
We can fix two problems, right? We can train folks to repair those homes. We
Yes,
can
sir.
we can put kids back to work.
Yeah.
We can put families in those homes.
right.
We can heal if we just come together with a few certain, provable ideas. And, we're back on the straight and narrow.
Because of when you say that, because that should be like a mandate with Habitat for Humanity,
Mhm.
especially with that whole American American Peace Corps. When you think about connecting those resources, as you said about training and encouraging people, first-time homeowners, that could be a whole real program for 2 to 5 years. And that's how, when you think about our elderly people, they talked about a master plan. So if you think about any kind of master plan and you don't have the people that are really affected by this plan, then that's your plan. But when you say something about elderly, home ownership, equity, and again, that's how we reclaim our city.
That's
That's
right.
gotta be
We
part
That's
of
We
the,
can take our youth and train them in a lifelong skill
yeah,
that they can feed their family, teach a man to fish, right?
yeah.
We gotta do that.
Well, like Leon Elamine, he is gotten a lot of even ex-cons.
Mm-hmm,
And when they come back into the community, he's training them in skilled trades.
mm-hmm.
They are building houses. They have a house for women that are, I think, on the run or been put out or whatever.
Mhm.
Transition.
Transitional houses.
Mhm.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
But anyway, those are the kind of things that we need to do. Another thing, remember when they put all the people that had mental issues out of their buildings and they set the store on fire next to Halo Burgers? I remember when that happened. We gotta get a handle on a few things, and we gotta come together and talk about it and then be about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we gotta do it now. We can't keep talking about it. We just
Mhm.
gotta, put some things into action.
Yeah.
So I propose to have some community meetings,
Mhm.
and let's pinpoint some specifics and then let's go after it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at.
I think just strategically planning
Yes.
is key. So folks that are running, are you engaging with other folks that's candidates and
Yes.
having conversations?
Mhm.
Because
Well, I am.
potentially you may all be on the same board together.
Mhm.
Right.
That means, kind of get some good synergy amongst each other
Mhm.
and get that.
And prayerfully, we
Yeah.
can, the ones of us that will make the positive change will be elected.
I'm hoping all those seats flip, and I'm just
right.
being hopeful and optimistic. I just hope we get a good group in this time.
Yes.
That's all
Really?
I'm betting on.
That's really willing to, again, conversation as opposed to confrontation.
That's
And
right.
again, that's what we're looking for you guys, to really have some conversation, compromising, because that's part of the concept of trying to get anything done.
That's correct.
We all bring we bring some things to the table.
That's right.
So how can you listen and you listen? And that's what we're hoping from our council, that you guys will not be on the news, not be practical jokes, not be buffooning, that you guys are gonna really be the
Yeah.
Phoenix to get some stuff done.
That's
I
right.
mean, we want you guys to be a model, man, and we wanna support you. See,
Mhm.
one thing that we gotta do as constituents is be there to support you guys.
Mhm.
And then help and motivate you guys when you guys are going a little left,
Mhm.
or a little right, or a
Right.
little up or down.
Right.
We gotta be in your face.
That's teamwork.
That's teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work. That's what I got.
It's the whole, lack of accountability. I need to be held, I
Right.
need to be held accountable.
Right.
The, constituent his house go array and he's got blight up to
Yeah.
here, they need to be held accountable.
Mhm.
The administration needs to be held accountable.
Mhm.
Everybody needs to have an ownership and accountability.
Ownership, yeah.
You gotta own it. You gotta
Gotta
own it.
own it, man.
And that's why we was talking even from a constituent standpoint.
Right.
For us.
Yep.
To be able to come to the city council meetings, right?
Yeah.
In Zoom or down at the chamber, for us to come to the redistrict commission meetings, so we don't get outlined or lose the 34th district seat,
Mhm.
right? For us to come to the meeting when we talk about how Flint is going to be replaced the Genesee County Land Bank and create the
Mhm.
Flint Land Bank, right?
Right.
You guys can be visionary about it, and we're gonna support you.
Right.
All we just want to see is just real action.
Oh, and
You
bring,
got a whole city behind.
and bring 911 back in Genesee County,
Yes.
because that's a travesty all.
Not more police, not more police. What we saying is 911.
Mhm.
911.
We always get to the point, and to this point, to in the community, right? To the folks out there in the community, we got to minimize crime ourselves, right? We got to be out there,
Yep.
peace agents. However, we
Yep.
go ahead and deter crime. We got to use our communicative words to be
Yep.
able to communicate with each
Yep.
other and not confront each other every time. I know it's very frustrating, and everybody's passionate about what they believe in or whatever. But we have to go ahead and make this city safe. It's the residents in here that has to be accountable to say, we're not gonna allow crime to run rampant up in here.
Mhm.
Right? We ain't gonna let all that action go on at the liquor stores or at the gas station. Right?
Mhm.
We're gonna just be out there loving and valuing you because we care.
Right.
We got babies coming up in here, and I don't want nothing happening to them. We want them to be successful in life.
Mhm.
So we got to show them what success look like, and that's
Yes.
why we have to depend on the leadership. So our young people who's coming up, who tend to get forgotten about all the time,
Mhm.
they have to see something that they can feel, something that they can be a part of, something that they inspired about. And I'm hoping and praying that that's what we get.
Because when you say that, you cannot be it unless you see it. It's impossible.
Mhm.
And you know what would be so awesome? And you guys think about put this in one of your computer CPS units, but man, wouldn't it be awesome to want city council, all of them, outside of their chambers,
Mm-hmm.
out in communities where we have community conversations, blah, blah, blah. When we talk about
Yeah.
reducing crime, like the city, members of the city council,
Yes.
was out with us,
Mm-hmm.
walking the block. Come on, man, walking the block.
Y'all,
At night.
is that something y'all down for?
Just walking the block.
I love
I'm
that.
gonna do it
I
anyway.
love
Come
that.
on now.
I mean, it's that and having these type of conversations.
Yes.
We can,
Yeah.
just be open and let's talk about the problems and let's fix them.
One of the things, it's okay. One of the things that we're looking to position, like even after November, right, after the election, we host a community conversation first and third Saturday.
Mhm.
And so what we would like to do is have those representatives from those wards come in and give a report out.
Mhm.
You can say, hey, I got crime going on and X block going on over here,
Mhm.
right? And, I need some support. So, if you got some mentors that want to come out and work with, folks in this area,
Yeah.
let's do it, right?
Let's do it.
Or it's a liquor store that I'm having trouble with, right?
Yes, sir.
These are these conversations we can build on, or it's these
That's what I'm
properties I'm
saying.
looking to get from the land bank,
That's
right?
right.
And they give me a little headache,
Mhm.
right? We need a little push from the community.
Right, right.
That's the type of flow we want to have, but on Saturdays, we're looking to bring you all up. there
Well,
so you
it's
can report
about community engagement and
Right.
getting input from the community, because in the end, we're just gonna be spokesmen for the community.
That's
Right,
And
right.
we
That's
have
right.
to, we have to use our voices
Mhm.
to impact and change the what the community wants.
The narrative.
Mhm.
And not coming there ready to fight. Well, we gotta be
Right.
thinking about in our community, not having an agenda, but coming in to embrace, to be a part of solutions, not coming with an agenda. Because what we're talking about today is, we're talking about sincerely engaging in a loving manner.
Mhm.
I know a lot of times you feel a certain way and I feel a certain way and what have you, but for us to really change in our community, it'd be awesome, man. Like we were saying earlier about you guys coming out of y'all council seats. And we got some of our senior citizens, that's been cooped up. And we walking with some young ladies and young men, they got their little walkers, and we walking the block, huh? You know what I'm saying? Got their little motor scooters.
Come on, oh,
We walking the block with the motor scooters, you know what I mean? That would be awesome, man.
That's a powerful image. And
That's a powerful image,
They feel
man.
safe and comfortable to be walking around,
With us,
moving
yeah.
around. Yeah, that's the type of community and village.
Yeah, that's what we want, man.
And maybe even going to these schools. We in the schools right now, and we talking about, civic duty, right?
Right.
But if you guys come in as representatives of the city and saying, hey, this is the type of workflow that we got going on. This is the type of ordinance that we're putting in place. This is the type of vision that we'd like to put down for you.
It starts with the youth.
Yeah,
It's
we
always
had,
about, it's got to be
It starts with the youth.
this succession.
I forget that organization. It was a young, elderly gentleman. He, had the young boys in the neighborhoods. And he had an organization, he was in the schools, and he was training them. And they were really learning and they loved it. And I can't remember the name of the organization now. Do you remember what it was?
I'm not sure. I know we in the schools right now.
Yeah, but it was an organization, and I forget the name of those children, but they were trained to the T and they were above board. So we got to get back to things like that also.
Yes.
And I'm suggesting if we can open up some of these schools, again, put the arts back in there. Put the skilled trades piece.
Family
home
resource center,
economics.
because what they really need to be, the schools need to be community and family resource centers.
That's right.
That's really critical for our community because, that's one avenue that we can really start healing
Right.
our community, because when you can think about after school tutoring on many different levels,
That's right.
when you think about some of the communities dealing with cutting grass, we can have a school that got 20 to 15 lawnmowers,
Right.
and we got young men going out in shift. That's a little job.
That's
what I
right.
mean? Where we
Right.
got some elderly people need their lawns cut every week or every other week. Then that's how we think, like you said, outside the box.
Outside the box.
But the schools, again, they don't have to go to Grand Blanc. The school is right in walking distance.
That's right.
It's a partner in the community. School director, everybody is on board for the healing of the community.
That's right.
And that's what it's going to take. Because
That's right.
along with the school, if you had the school and the church on board with what they
That's
used to
right.
do, we're winners.
We're
We're
winners.
winners, man.
Yes.
They're not building that culture center over there, spending
On
almost
purpose.
$1 billion over there at the culture center for nothing, guys. They got some plans, and don't get that twisted.
We ain't twisted.
They got some plans
We
for
on
that
top
culture
of it.
center.
Let's turn it in there.
And
Let's
that's why
talk
I'm
about
saying,
those-
let's go back to the inner city. Why did the money stop right at downtown? That's what I got an issue with. Why did it stop right there? Why didn't they go to the north end? We pay taxes. I pay taxes every year. I pay taxes. So why doesn't that reflect on my end of town?
They don't want poor folks in downtown.
I know they don't.
They
Yeah.
don't want poor folks.
See, and then the thing
That's
is
it.
too, we gotta build it. And a lot of folks on the north end don't want to patronize downtown, right? They want to build up their sector too.
And I don't
We should
blame
be
them for
building up
wanting to
North
build theirs
Saginaw.
up.
We should be building up North Saginaw. We should have Martin Luther King Street looking immaculate. We
That's
should
right.
have businesses all
That's
out there
right.
flowing. It should be that, right?
That's right.
It should be that type of energy. But the thing is, so when we talk about resources, because it's always taking resources to make these
Resources,
things push.
resources.
We got $47 million sitting in the coffers right now.
Yep.
Right? We still ain't got an idea what we're gonna spend it on. To my knowledge, right?
They could take $1 million of those dollars and start renovating and cleaning up the north end.
I'm
Just
like, hey, I'm just
$1
saying.
million.
Like, so y'all, next week, right? It's election day. We got to spend that money. I think what it said. Do we got to spend it before December? Or no, we don't have to spend it before
I
December.
don't believe so.
So we don't have to spend it before December. But what type of visions you see as potential city council folks? What do you see we can do with some of those dollars?
I would like in each increment of the 47 million.
Mhm.
At least buy back and start building our fleet back up for the garbage trucks.
Yeah, I think we should.
I think we should definitely do things like that with each increment of the 47. You know, so we can own some stuff again. If we gotta creep and do it, let's do that. You know, that's one major thing. I think they need to give the officers a raise. Who wants to put their life on the line for the little money that they got right now? That's why they can't fill the position. It's 22 positions open. Right now.
So just to elaborate on that, and I'll let you finish. The police in Flint start $20,000 less than the police in Ann Arbor.
That's right.
$20,000
Less
in a high crime city.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
you know,
it's ridiculous.
we're not gonna get, we may get a lot of applicants, but are we gonna get the best people? Like, I'd rather have the best people and less of them than, people
just a
that.
bunch of folks out there on the street.
Right.
Right.
I'm
Those
yeah.
are kind
And
of
who
things.
wants to put their life on the line for $35,000?
Listen, we putting our life on the line for free out here.
Right.
I'm just saying. It's like,
Right.
I'm just saying, like, real talk though. When you talk about you laughing when you talking about their work or Peace Corps doing, or just brothers and just like tired of the garbage, right? You know what I mean? We dedicated. We do need to have talented folks out there.
And bring
And
people
even
back.
then, not even just the police. We need council workers. We need folks. We need professionals.
And bring people back in the community that can do those jobs, good union paying jobs. We need to get back to that. And people will start feeling better about themselves.
Mhm.
We used to be a good, this community here, it was a good union paying city, you know, and we had camaraderie. We had love for each other. And we worked as a community. We've gotten away from all of it.
When you think about it, when you have legislation that turns around and say, well, this is a right to work state, I mean, you think about why, like the capitalism.
I told you they studied us.
And controlling the
They
resources.
studied us and they learned what our weaknesses were,
Yeah,
and then they came after us and we let them.
let them. Yeah.
So now we defending ourselves and we trying to get it right. We didn't let them do all this stuff. We didn't let them in.
Then sat back and watched them just decimate this place. The
Yeah,
school system is where they really should have just put their foot down, you know. That was something that really hurt us because these children, they're growing up illiterate. They don't act like wild animals in many instances. And I'm gonna call it what it is.
I gotta say, like, sometimes too, like, I can't blame it all on the children. I can't blame it all on
I can
the
blame it on their parents for not training them.
I can give some to the parents too, because we do got young parents out here that's trying to make a living and they're trying to go work, they're trying to go to school, trying to advance their career, but then they also have these children that they look over and they're trying to send them to daycare or they're trying to hope somebody can watch them. And they're just not putting a lot of investment into these young people.
They gotta put some investment.
They're just trying to get.
You just gotta do it.
There's that sector of people that are just trying to get by.
Well, I got one question. I got one question for y'all.
Yeah, man.
This is like a generation of coddlers. 'Cause I hear what you're saying, like that young, we coming up with excuses because in your time, this ain't the first time it's been single mothers. You had to work. It's just like we make excuses for this generation now. Like it's been single mothers. It's just this one, we ain't gonna tell the truth. They be in the club.
That's right.
They drink. And someone rather be friends than parents.
And partying with their children
So
in the clubs.
one thing I will put on that, and it's 100% true. Like I said, I grew up in single mother. The schools were way better back then.
Right.
The schools went crashing down, and the single mothers stayed the same. So there's that disconnect from.
Right.
When schools bottomed out, there was nothing to fill that gap.
Right.
Because remember, these was the parents that's coming out.
I grew up with a single mother, but I do know that when we were little, we were able to go to Scott School, after school activities.
That's right.
And then also
They
we
don't
stayed
have
on the
that.
block with Miss Stevenson,
Mhm.
and everybody was just looking out for the children right there in those areas. We just don't have that type of concept, so children can't go to after school activities right now because the school closed.
There is no after school activity.
So they're sitting
No
at home with idle time.
No schools.
There's no school, but there's no center, there's no activities, right? We did karate, we did a number of stuff. We did a bunch of stuff that
I
we
know.
probably didn't even care about. What it took up our time.
Mhm,
So now the children of today, they have a lot of idle time on their hands.
mhm.
So we have to count.
That was
We
workshop.
have to provide some foundations and some structures. So if the schools are down and out, then we should be able to go ahead, and if we had a house on the block or what have you, it could be a safe house.
Mhm.
Children can go in there, read a book, have a mentor,
Get all these,
learn how to,
this
eat.
money, put some, what you call them, activities, places where kids go, like the Boys and Girls Club, but
Community centers
But,
and things like that.
yeah, it's something else, another name I wanted to call it. But anyway, we need to start just looking at this whole structure and what's best for us right now. What is it going to take to get the outcome that we really need?
Mhm.
You know, we gotta come together
Right.
collectively and figure that part out and then move towards that end.
I think everything starts with a goal.
Oh,
We
yeah.
gotta,
Yeah.
we gotta come together and say, where do we wanna be?
And where do we
then-
wanna
and then we'll
start?
develop
Where
the
do we
plan
wanna
to get
end
there.
up?
Mhm.
I love what you're saying as far as starting on with a goal, because again, and that's why when you think about a collective body of people that got years and years or 300 or 400 years of experiences, if you put all those experiences together. So when you talk about resources and understanding what the goal is, and like you just said about, you was in a single home too, and then how the school filled the gap.
Yep.
So since we know that worked, we need to go back to what worked.
Mhm.
And
I mean, really, that's simple.
It's
You know,
real
the
simple.
the same ARPA funds, almost the same dollar amount is going to the Flint Community Schools as the city of Flint.
That's right.
And we need more parents involved. We need more community leaders involved in the decision-making on how those funds are spent as
That's
well, not just worrying about the city of Flint,
Mhm.
because there's a lot of money going to the schools. There's a lot of money going to the city of Flint. We have to, like I said, find out where we want to be and how we can use those funds to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Those are once in a lifetime funds.
You talking about the dollars that went to the school.
That's the same ARPA funds, the CARES Act funds.
Okay.
We got almost the same amount of money going to Flint Community Schools, the city of Flint.
That's right.
And
We need to
again,
tap in on that.
That's right.
definitely, yeah, because that's critical when you think about, the issue always been resources,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like you said, about having quality and people that have a heart that want to be in this community. We need people that really wants to work with these group of people. When you think about behavior as opposed to lock them up, there's a lot of young people that we deal with just need some love, man. They
Love.
really just, because really, if you've been taught all your life or somebody told you, get out my face, I hate you. And then you expect me to go to school and be all right. Come on, y'all.
Mhm.
'Cause that's what a lot of our children
Yeah.
are experiencing.
Yeah.
And so when we say that if they are so important for our legacy, that's the locking up, then there has to be a mechanism in place where we are serious about rebuilding, healing, and repairing the brokenness in our community. Because again, we want our community to be healthy, we want our community to be lasting, and we want to see a different community. And that's where the resources gotta go. They gotta go in that area.
If you look at the city of Flint, and if you build back the schools, they will come.
Yes.
If you build back the
I told
schools,
you.
they will come.
I
If
love
you
it.
look at the
I told
decline
you
of the
that.
city, every neighborhood where the school closed up,
Yeah.
the city or the neighborhood around it
Went
went
down.
down.
Yes,
If
it
you look,
did.
Oh, man.
I grew up in the 9th Ward. I went to Cody Elementary.
Yeah.
That's gone. That's an empty field. That's a trash haven.
Mhm.
Right.
I went for half a second to McKinley. That's closed down. The neighborhoods around Cody and McKinley are gone.
Mhm.
They are gone. It is a third world country over there.
You know what I'm saying?
Baby.
If you build up the schools, they will come.
That's
Amen.
right. And I was
And that should be a
sharing,
goal,
I was
like you said,
sharing-
back to your goal.
yeah,
Let's go.
earlier I was sharing with Dennis
Mm-hmm.
that when our children, because we fought with the GISD, that's the Genesee Intermediate School District,
Mm-hmm.
Democracy Defense League, Laura and I are part of that. But when we went out there and fought with them, the formula had not been changed in over 20 years. That was one thing. But when they started taking our schools out of Flint and our kids were going to the out counties, and remember the water crisis has hit, so our special needs went up 56%. So the kids would be acting out, some of them. They would send them back to the inner city. Once they
after count day.
After they would, and after they came, tired of them, then sent them back. They didn't send the money back with them. You understand?
Yeah.
That's the issue. So we fought until we got in court and we reversed that. You know
So
what I'm
the
saying?
The dollar follows the student.
Right.
Right. See, and I agree.
Just
with
a
that.
lot of things, and people take a lot of stuff for granted.
Mhm.
We've got to start, just honing in and just paying attention to what's most important. Like this election, most people vote in the election where the president. Don't you know the most important election is where you live
Come on now.
in this municipality?
We gotta say
These
that
are the
again.
things that affect you on a daily
Mhm.
basis.
We gotta say
So
that
this
again.
election is crucial to you.
Mm.
Get out and vote.
Let me follow up beyond that. Just that same Obama energy back in 08, right? We was voting for the president. Same thing with the election, just past election for President Biden. We got to vote like that here on the local level. We
That's
got to
right.
be at the polls. It should be lines. Don't get scared. Don't get tired. Don't go and turn around. Don't feel like you can do it another day because it's only one shot at this if you haven't threw in an absentee ballot. So we want to make sure that people are out there voting. We want to see long lines. If you need a ride, right? We got
Yes.
folks that's going to transport you to those
Yeah.
places. So you
Right.
don't got to have no excuse. And then I advise everybody to take 4-5 people. I'm taking all the young folks with me because this will be the first time a lot of them is voting. They
Right.
18,
That's right.
19, 20, 21, they ain't been a part of this and they just trying to understand it. So while we going out voting, we talking about these things. We talking about the issues. You just
Right.
said goals are important. You said
Goals.
education.
Yeah.
Education got to be the key.
Education.
Every
Education.
community has to be built off education.
That's the
That's
key.
right.
Then you have to build
That's the
public
key.
safety
That's
for
right.
your economic piece.
That's
right.
So you gotta have those three things at the start.
At the start.
Now,
We should be looking at
That's the
just
jump
how
off point.
how we gonna work on this.
Those
We
are
gonna-
the building blocks for our skyscraper.
right.
There you go.
And we gonna even tap in with the school board members, right? We got folks in the building. We gonna tap in, have conversations, see, hey, how can we coexist? How can we build with each other? How can we
Right.
network with one another?
Right,
How
right.
can we float these resources back and forth? When we building up those neighborhoods where the schools are,
Yeah.
or making whatever a center or a hub, or
Right.
something different,
Right.
right? But then also you change the value of the properties in the area.
Right.
And I want you to know, for some of you may not know, but in this state, ex-felons can vote.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
on top of that,
That's right.
I want you to know that on tomorrow,
At the county
I have
jail.
been called to go down to the county jail
That's right.
Mhm.
and witness to the inmates
Right.
because they can vote. If they have
Right.
not been convicted, they can vote.
That's right.
So we'll be going down there in the morning,
That's
Okay,
good.
Also-
it's 500 votes down there. Yeah, you gotta
Yes.
realize it's
Come
5
on.
votes down there.
500 to 900 votes
Yeah.
down there.
Mhm.
So I want to say to the 6th Ward, if you're listening,
Mhm.
on Tuesday, if you need a ride to the polls, 6th Ward, there's American Medical Courier van that will pick you up and take you to the polling places.
Mhm.
And there is a phone number. The phone number is area code 734-548-2201. Again, 734-548-2201. So if you need to be picked up to go to the polls in the 6th Ward, please call that number. God bless.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Okay, well, how you doing it in the 8th Ward?
How am I doing what?
We gotta get people out to vote. Then we gotta get some cars out
I
there,
mean,
get some limo services.
You text me, my number's 410-5000.
5,000.
You can't, my cell phone,
Simple.
410-5000. Text me, I'll
Easy phone number.
I'll find a way.
I can do that one.
I'll find a way.
Listen, that's the type of thing, type of flow. Please, November 2nd. And we did make our blackout picks, right? We've been kind
Yeah.
of shuffling them out this week, and we may talk about it a little bit this end of the show. But make sure this Tuesday we are voting, November 2nd. Please do all your information right now. Find out what precinct you're in.
Yes.
Find out which address you're under, right? Sometimes we get to these places and get frustrated because we have the wrong precinct.
That's right.
Right? Don't get deterred, right? Find out.
Find
It's
out.
take a little sweat equity, it take a little learning, but then also you learn these things. So then you
Right.
can help somebody else who may be struggling with the same thing.
Right.
So these are the things that we asking you to do. Go out and vote. Don't wait till the end. We should see laundry lines of folks in
Mhm.
every voting precinct at schools, centers, whatever the case, wherever we
Mhm.
voting at, make sure you be there. And we're gonna be calling folks up until Tuesday
Yeah.
because our livelihood depend on this. Our young people depend on you to do the
Yeah.
right thing.
Yeah.
Those under 17-year-olds, they depend on you, mama, daddy. I know you gotta work. you know you grinding, you know what I'm saying? We respect everything about it. But take a lunch break, take a break,
yeah,
take a time to go ahead and do it. Take the kids with you.
Take them
I
with
take
you.
my children with me
Right.
every time I go.
Take them with you.
They be geeked up to get the stickers. So I know it's implementing this in their mind that, hey, listen, when I get of age, I'm gonna be doing this too, because my voice matters.
My voice matters, man.
That's where it's at, man. So, I guess we can go right in until you want to do the blackout picks. You want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, we can talk a little bit about it.
Okay, all right. So, we definitely have interviewed folks for the past couple months
Yes, sir.
about you know what we were wanting to hear or what we would like in our elected officials, and we have kind of put down some folks in a few wards that we've been dealing with. So,
Yes, sir.
in the first ward,
First board.
we had definitely made the selection, and the two candidates running was Eric Mays, who's the incumbent,
Mm-hmm.
and you had Miss Tanya Rising. Yeah, Miss Tanya Rising.
Right.
I think it was a write-in, right?
Yes, sir.
With our first ward pick, we
Yeah, we
selected
was going Dr. Mays.
Dr. Mays.
Dr.
Let's
Mays.
know it, brother.
All right.
He was excited too. He was
Dr.
geeked up.
Mays.
He called on that like, man, listen, I appreciate you for the pick, man.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you so much. You just don't know what it meant to me.
Yeah,
Hey,
he thought he had a Academy
you
Award, right?
want me to sing you a song?
Yeah. He done poured out the handkerchief with a note on there. Listen, I'd like to thank all the people in the first ward. No, but definitely though, man. Big shout out to Mays, man. We definitely select him with the first ward pick.
Right.
You know, that's a good solid brother, man. Very smart. You know, we be hoping that, you know what I'm saying, we got some good synergy amongst each other this time.
Yes.
And, you know, we gonna leave them old problems with the last group.
Right.
We're gonna move
That's
forward
right.
on
Move
and,
forward.
and move with grace.
New slate.
There you go.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right.
Second ward.
What
Dun,
y'all
dun,
what y'all
dun.
think about the first real quick?
Yeah, what y'all think about that?
I deal with Eric Mays, you know, we have a long friendship.
Mhm.
We've been, you know, he's helped me out on my campaign.
Mhm.
Okay.
You know, we have a very good working relationship.
There you go.
You know, I criticize him in
That's
private.
right.
Come
That's
on.
right.
Me too.
Yeah, me
you
too.
know, I
Some
tell
days I
him,
don't even speak to him.
Someday, man, I'll be ready to fight with him.
you know, I'll praise him in public and I'll
That's right.
scrutinize him
Come
in
on,
private
yeah,
so
thank
that
you.
so
Come
that
on.
we can,
That's it.
we can work
That's
together.
that's how you do it.
That's respect.
How about you, Queen?
Well,
Yeah, we
Well, mama was like, well,
Eric and I came up through the UAW together. We've been friends for a long time. I'm gonna, you know what? And let me say this. I love the Rising family because Vera was a close friend of mine.
Okay.
And this is her niece.
Okay.
And she's smart too.
okay.
However, I think
Shout out to you,
Eric
Tanya.
is gonna win.
Mhm.
However, I'm gonna do what Eric did in my race.
Okay.
He said he was gonna remain neutral, so that's where I'm at.
Well, okay, but even when you want to talk about Miss Rising, Miss Rising,
Mhm.
we got some plans for you
Yeah.
because we got a flat jacket. So just remember that.
Right.
Go to war
Yeah.
See, and we still
Mhm.
we still want to see backflip down Saginaw, but that's another.
too. That's another thing.
So moving on to the second ward, which is a very important ward. right?
Very important, bro. Crucial,
You
crucial.
know, we definitely got some new people. Somebody new is going to take the ranks.
Yes,
It's
sir.
out of Liddell Lewis and Sister Audrey Muhammad, or Sister
Audrey Young.
Audrey Young.
Get that Audrey Young. So you see the Audrey Young on there.
Yeah.
Come on
Make sure
now.
you know what you're doing. So with the drum roll,
Drum
please.
roll.
Our second ward pick will be
Sister Ma Young.
Sister Young. All right, now big shout out to Sister Young. We said that earlier. She was elated, and big shout out for her being on the Flint Library Board.
Oh,
You know,
most
Yes.
definitely, yeah.
she's making
Yes.
waves and she's doing phenomenal things. So
Yes, she
we
is.
want to continue to keep uplifting
My
that
girl.
woman.
Mhm.
She's a real solid sister.
Solid.
I
Solid.
respect. Let me tell y'all something. You know,
Solid.
I respect solid people. I don't care what it is. I respect solid people being real.
Being real.
Even if you tell me some stuff that you really feel.
Right,
You know, from
right,
the heart, right? I
right.
gotta respect.
They hurt your little feelings.
Man, hurt
Come on
my
now.
feelings, right?
Yep.
But
Take it off.
I respect the fact that you can't read.
Right?
Be real and own it.
Yeah.
Own
man.
it.
Stand
Come
up.
on,
We
be
always
real.
say stand
Dennis,
up. Then 10 toes.
Come
on
on.
it.
That's
Come
right.
on.
Dennis say, be real on it.
Come on now.
10 toes down.
Dennis grew up on 12 and 50.
Okay, you know,
it's not deep. We was on the Saginaw.
Ain't intimidating. All right, Dennis. Ain't no intimidation here. All right, Dennis. We can roll this.
I mean,
You down the street, you go down the street, you know what I'm saying?
Miss Perkins intimidates me. So
Okay.
I think this intimidates me.
That's right. She's strong. She's strong. Okay, now moving on to the third. We got the
Third
ward, right?
ward,
We
Lord
still-
have mercy.
we still,
Amen.
we still trying to figure it
We
out,
still
man.
trying to
I think,
figure it out.
man, I'm like,
We might have to take what the queen said.
you know what I'm saying?
Stains.
Man, listen, we having conversations, man. We trying to see, man. Listen, what we don't want is the third world to be misrepresented. Because I think
Truly,
they,
man.
they got a raw deal with Santino.
Raw
And they
deal,
looking to
man.
come back. So I hope that we come back with some vengeance, but I hope that them brothers can work it out. And I'm talking about Rich and AC. I need y'all to be on one accord. I know y'all probably looking, man. Listen, AC, Rich, we need y'all to go ahead and make it make sense in the third. Right? Right? AC and Rich, we looking at y'all to make a difference, man. Listen,
Please.
come on, man. Listen, you got to have a conversation, sit down and say, listen, we're going to do the right thing this time. Right?
And we're gonna get behind AC.
Right.
We're going to get behind. We're going to get
We got
behind.
to, man.
We got, listen, it's business, right? Sometimes it gets
It ain't personal.
It ain't personal. It's nothing like that, man, but we got to make it make sense and we can't take no shorts. So that's what we rolling with, man. So
And we got a flight jacket from Brother Rich.
we got a flight jacket. Don't worry about it, Rich. Listen, it's delegate positions. All
It's
type of
other things,
stuff.
yeah, man. We got work.
AC said
We got work.
he'd take you in the office with him. Y'all
Come
can
on
work
now.
together like that.
Right.
Type of
See,
teamwork
that's how
that
you
know.
do it.
Yeah.
Come on now.
So, man, we ain't gotta be cutting each other down, talking bad about one another.
None of that. None of that.
Because at the end of the day, you're gonna see each other.
Right.
You want to be in good graces. with
Hug it up,
Yeah,
and then we on another level.
Come
Like
on.
Dennis said, we got some goals.
we got to go.
Number four.
At the end of the day, we need more voices, and Rich isn't gonna lose his voice.
Right,
Rich
right.
ain't-
No,
Rich ain't- look, you see Rich.
yeah,
got all kinds
right.
of
You
love
know,
going
Rich,
on,
he gonna lose
man.
his voice.
Right, man. So you know what I'm saying? He probably on live right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so moving on.
Four.
To the fifth ward.
We gonna skip the
We
fourth.
gonna- Fifth ward.
Man, we still rolling with Michael Dones in the fourth, baby.
Fourth, yeah.
Write him in.
Right,
Write
man.
him in.
No, seriously, who y'all gonna pick out of the four? You got Judy Priestley and Kate Fields. So who y'all voting for?
You
The
know
two.
what? I ain't
Who
gonna.
am I rolling
Yeah,
with?
who you rolling with?
Anybody not named Kate Field.
Come on, man.
Oh,
Listen,
there we
man,
go.
real
Well, we
talk, man.
vote for Judy because I put that on there.
Listen, man, Kate, listen, you have been a disgrace for these past 6 years.
Oh.
Just running with you, you just done a terrible job. I think you should still be censored right now. And I'm just being
I'm
real.
telling you.
But you know, the thing is this, man, we gotta be serious about it. And you know, you holding us up. And you know, it'd be different if you had a good attitude, okay? Let me just talk to you real talk. If you had a really good attitude, you weren't snobbish and you didn't think that you knew it all and you wanted to work with people, right? We would really embrace you, right? Marie said you were smart, but I haven't seen it. But I'm just saying this. I really hope that after this election that you can go ahead and just be a good woman in the fourth ward. That's all. That's all, right? We ain't trying to bash nobody. You know, all that stuff you be talking on film politics. Come on now. If the people in the fourth ward deserve better. And that's all I'm got to say about that.
We need more humble servants and less.
Oh my God. That's it. We just want to win. You know, it's like being on a losing team for 12 years. You know, man, you like being with the Lions all these years.
Right.
Like, goodness gracious.
Oh,
I really want to win. I'm a good player. I come and show up every time.
And you still get a paycheck.
You still get a paycheck, right? Man, I'm hurt. I'm crying in the locker room. See,
Right.
It hurt.
It
I
hurt.
be hurt about it. I'm in the office like, man, I'm scratching my head. I'm just really
In the tub full of ice.
I ain't even played the game.
I ain't played
Right.
Yeah, let's go to fifth ward.
You support.
Yeah.
Yeah, who you support?
We're gonna put you on the spot.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Spotlights are.
Yeah.
I'm with the team.
Who was the team?
You gotta call it out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, Judy. Okay, well, Judy.
I
Then.
said I'm with the team.
We're gonna rock with Judy on this.
So who we going for the sixth? I'm just messing. Fifth ward.
Judy, take the Trump signs out the yard. It's all
Please.
glad to be back here with you. We're rocking with you. We're coming down to shoot with you. I'll roll by, man. I see Trump
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 sign,
man.
man.
I said, you know
Come
what?
on, Judy. Do better, Judy.
I said, Judy, come
Do
on.
better, Judy.
I said, you can't at least pull the signs out the
At
yard.
least pull them out the yard.
I set up a Black Lives Matter sign next to the Trump sign.
Right,
It's good.
right,
It's good.
Right
So
on.
moving on now, you know what I'm saying? Fifth Ward.
Fifth Ward.
Fifth Ward is a big ward. People don't understand how critical
Yeah.
the Fifth Ward is. This is a transition ward, right? You got a lot of parts downtown, east side a little bit, right, in the north end. So we gotta have some strong representation. Well, drum roll.
Drum roll.
Our Fifth Ward selection is Jerry Winfrey Carter.
Yes,
Make some
sir,
noise for
Miss
Jerry
Carter.
Winfrey Carter. Come on now.
Miss
Come
Carter in the house.
Come on, yeah. She was out there early. I seen her knocking on doors.
Yes, sir.
Connecting with residents out there on
Mhm.
Garden Street.
Yes.
She's really trying to go ahead and work it out. And so
And she's learning. She's
She's
still
learning.
you know.
you
At
learn.
least she's open to learn.
That's the best thing sometimes.
Yeah, man.
I don't be having all the answers, and I just be able
Right.
to learn. So you know what I'm saying. Sometimes if you're willing to learn, that's the best candidate. You know what I'm saying. You ain't gotta have all the answers. You gotta have all the recommendations. As long as you're willing to get out there and fight.
On the job training and having some integrity, because
Mhm.
again, being honest, on council, you can't know everything, but once you're honest about, I don't really understand something, and then you come somewhere to do some homework,
Mhm.
then you can really represent the community. So
Cool.
that's something that really gotta be
Come
transparent.
on now. I like that. So big shout out. What y'all think?
Sixth Ward.
Who you voting for in the 6th Ward?
Hold on.
Who, me?
Now we gotta be silent now.
Oh,
If you're against that,
She gotta
I'll go
go.
first. I'll go first since she's
Well-
still undecided. I will tell you that, like Malcolm X said, the white liberal
yeah.
is is the red fox. You can't
Oh,
see it coming, and they are the worst of the worst. And I think that he falls in that category as well as Herkenroder. They are up to no good.
We might be in trouble, and I'm about to
Man,
go
nah,
outside, y'all.
I might have to go ahead and buy Dennis a beer or something.
Yeah,
This is my guy.
Yeah, he-
I might-
Too
I
much
might
truth
put
coming
a
out
red
right
board
now. I don't want to be
Hey,
everybody like that.
you go to Malcolm, because that's all he told
Hey,
me.
said my bad. I just got it out, okay. All right.
That
He
liberal,
did
man,
say that.
that liberal was dangerous.
Man, okay, all right.
Right about
That
that,
was some strong knowledge right there. You reading Malcolm?
The liberal and independent.
Always learning.
Yeah.
Always learning. If you're not learning, you're dying.
Not learning to die.
Okay, you
Like that.
All one. Okay,
Like,
so what you-
Team, I'm team.
Team.
All
Okay,
right,
that's
team,
Jerry
team.
Winfrey. Okay, all right. Big shout out to Jerry. Fifth Ward.
all right.
Okay, moving on to 6.
6 in the house.
6 in the house. Okay, we got two women. So we got Queen, Miss Claudia Perkins.
Yes.
Right. And
Yes.
is all that on the ballot? Is Claudia Perkins?
Mhm.
No milk.
Nope.
Okay, all right.
Dr.
Claudia
Perkins
Claudia Perkins.
in the house.
And
Yeah.
what's the other lady's
Tanya
name?
Burns.
Tanya
Oh,
Burns.
Miss Burns. We got a flat jacket for you, Miss Burns.
And some dynamite.
And a spot for you.
Can y'all get some insight on Tanya Burns?
You know what?
Can y'all get some insight on Tanya Burns?
Listen, man. Tanya, listen, man. Listen.
Dennis said it all.
I believe it.
I heard some shots down the street. I'm
Established
pretty sure she
volunteer.
reported out. She ain't trying to do no work. She
Right.
news reporter. She told the ABC 12 with that. We don't need no
Ain't Bree leaving?
We ain't what?
Ain't Bree leaving
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
mid-Michigan?
Yeah.
That's a job for her.
Yeah.
Full
Yeah.
transparency,
Mhm.
I donated to Tanya.
Oh,
Okay.
Lord, yeah.
So
Okay, keep it up. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
We ain't gonna try and feather you.
met you.
Yeah.
She said some things that I liked,
Yeah.
and I donated to her full
Come on.
Well,
transparency.
now that you know me, donate over here.
At least he kept it real though.
Yeah,
He
he-
kept it real though.
So you saying she's snake oil salesman, you then?
You intimidate the shit out of me. And I still said that.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I respect that. I respect that. That's something I would say.
Yeah.
Me too.
I
I did it.
She had a couple of the talking points, and I liked a couple of things that she said, so I donated to
Why
her.
didn't you seek me out? That's all I want to know.
Why didn't you seek me out?
I didn't
Oh,
know.
okay.
I did up for you.
Oh.
I did. I spoke up for you. Didn't I tell y'all that I would go with him over
Yeah.
Greg?
Now you see how we set this up for y'all. We put y'all in the room together.
Now you need, and I'm saying this on live.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, we got you.
Hold me accountable. What do I
I'm
need to do?
holding your camera right now.
Go
Fix it.
Right.
all you gotta do. Fix it.
Right, and listen,
I'll fix it.
There's the goal. There's the goal.
there's the
Let's
goal.
go.
Listen, we gotta be serious about it. We need some real
That's what I'm
strong
saying.
champions
She
on
She
board.
moved away from me just for the, on the camera. She
Just
moved
right
away.
here.
Yeah.
Dangerous. That's why you better be glad I moved.
Tanya,
This
listen,
right hook.
listen, Bree just moved on and got a new position in Tennessee, right? You know, send your resume to ABC 12. No, that's NBC 25.
Right,
Send your
right.
resume to NBC 25. See if they got a position out there for you. Might get out of the
Excellent.
truck.
Yep.
I'm just saying, we got to go ahead and get some work going on.
And we'll be a spokespeople. What they say you need, what they call it for a job. Tell them, give my number
we
out
reference-
of reference.
we
I'll
be
be
a
a
reference.
reference for
Yeah.
Flint need her up
Yeah,
there.
hey, you might not want to call me. I'm just telling you.
We trying to get her to Mid-Michigan now, brothers.
Right. Yeah.
I might not, you might not even
Call me.
Like, well, call me.
We'll make
Get
sure.
it,
I'll
get
make
it
sure.
on live with Rich or something. Rich out there on the beat. Moving on.
Moving on.
Number
7.
Ward 7. Okay.
Seven.
We got Monica Galloway and we got Allie
Ali.
Perkin-Roder. Perkin-Roder.
All right. And don't forget Lakeisha.
And Lakeisha.
Oh,
Lakeisha
yeah.
Turu.
Yeah.
Friday.
That's right in, right. Gotta respect that.
Peace and love, Lakeisha. Peace and love.
We love you,
So what we think?
Miss Galloway.
Miss Galloway, listen, we're gonna run with Miss Galloway again, because listen, I think she has a sound finance, right? Because finance is a big thing, especially with city dollars. We want to make sure folks understand, and if she don't, maybe we need to go ahead and make sure folks need to learn even further. But that's who we were rolling with the 7.
Yeah.
Any feedback?
Sister from another mister.
Okay, all right.
I'm abstaining on that one because one is family and I can't do that.
Keisha.
Mhm.
Yeah, Keisha family too. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But listen, you know what I'm saying? Like I be saying, listen, this is business. I had told Cuz this too.
Well, you did.
That's
I
right.
didn't. I didn't
That's
tell
right.
you so.
Like, man, I gotta
I
be
ain't no
honest, bro.
hypocrite.
I'm not no hypocrite either. I put
No,
everything
no,
on
no.
tape.
I'm just saying.
And I
didn't say that to
told Cuz and I told Keisha, like, you know, I gotta be honest and go with what's been going on. You know, if we have conversation, that's why we have opportunity to cultivate relationships and build, right? And that's important. So I take that to heart. And I ain't no fake individual. I'm not no flip flop. I'm just me. I ain't what I am, right? So we gonna rock with Mrs. Galloway.
That's right.
Okay.
All right. In the house.
Okay, all right. So moving on to the A.
Hey,
All right.
boy,
So
in the
we got-
house.
Should I step out?
No, man,
No.
right
No,
there.
no, no.
They're right there.
Dr. D.
We got Dr. D. We got old man G. What's up, man? Listen, we got Greg coming out. Greg's probably sleeping right now.
Yeah.
Greg's probably sleep at the bread and breakfast underneath the table.
Yeah.
I gotta say this, Greg. Listen, man. You know what? I'm tired. I was tired of coming to city council. Dog had a whole whopper up there. Like, I didn't understand. Was we eating today or what's going on? We gonna get business done or we just drunk up here? I'm just saying though, man. Come on, man.
Right.
Greg, you being honest, man. Greg, just go ahead and run the bread and breakfast. Whether you're living in the 6th or the 8th ward, we ain't tripping no more. Just go ahead and get the bread and breakfast going, right? You know what I'm saying? Give us free meals. You know what I'm saying? Right? And you know, and we done with you, bro. It's
all good.
You
All
know,
good.
right off in the sunset, man. Click him on, man. I'm just saying, right? Really though, we Grizz, man. I don't know what Grizz doesn't have a vision for the community. And that's why I say those things. I'm not saying that just to be saying, just talking bad.
Right. His receipt speaks for itself.
His receipts speak for itself. So think about the things that he vote on.
Right.
Think about his conversation at council.
Come on.
Think about the stuff that he's done on social media.
Man.
He's trying to, portray. We need better representation for the folks in the area, right?
Laughing
And
stuff.
it's a laughing stock, right? You know what I mean? And I got to admit, man, I'm impressed with Dr. D over here. Man, I got to go with Dennis on this one, man.
Dennis
You know what
stood
I'm saying?
up.
This he
10 toes down.
came in and put it down, right?
Hey, transparency.
man. Come on now, D.
Yeah,
That's
that's right.
Yep.
They excited now.
Yeah, you touched with little Malcolm. You can't lose on that. John Brown. Remember John Brown?
Come on now.
Come on.
You carry that John Brown spirit?
No, I'm not familiar with John Brown.
We gonna give him the book. Don't worry
Oh.
about it.
Read it.
We gonna give him the book.
I got it.
Laura got 2 copies in the car right now. I'm trying to tell you. Right? Don't worry about it. We gonna get it to you. Then.
Night.
But we gonna move it on, man. Moving on to the night. So,
Mm.
who's over there tonight?
I think
Even worse.
Barber.
Steve Barber.
Even worse than Steve Barber.
Steve Barber.
We might as well just cut the knife off the
Full transparency, I donated to Steve Barber.
Okay, all right, okay. Listen, I mean, you know, that knife, man, hey.
He's a write-in. He's anybody not named either word.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Either is a piece of work.
Mhm.
I for sure won't send my kids to her class.
No way.
I will not do that.
What's
No
cool?
way.
I'm not even sure. She at the Presbyterian.
No.
Okay, no. Anyway, man, listen, you know,
Shout out to Eva, I know you're watching.
yeah, I'm gonna shout that to you. We take that back. No, we have a lot of fun up here, Dennis. But listen, that ninth ward though, we do need some strong representation
Right,
for the ninth ward. Hopefully, it pan out. We're gonna see how the rain drop in the bucket.
Hey, I wanna let you all know the clerk's office number. It's 810-766-7414. So if you're unsure about where your voting site is, you can call and give them your address, and they can tell you what ward you're in and where you go to vote. 766-7414. That's the city clerk's office.
Can you tell me that again?
810-766-7414. That is the city clerk's office.
I'll just put it in the chat. That's all I
Put it in chat.
All right.
7414. Okay, so I think I enjoyed today's conversation. I think it was rich.
Mhm.
We had a lot of laughs and everything, but all seriousness, I think it depends on us banding together today to give our children a future tomorrow.
Yes.
And that's how we should. We sometimes even when I grew up, I know my pops would tell me, man, this, and I had to cry. I had to laugh to keep from crying.
Mm.
And sometimes we be laughing to keep from crying.
Man.
Because when you really look at it, when you think about it, and you feel like there's no hope, man, that hurts. It puts you in a slump. It puts your spirits down. It lowers your frequency. And for the people of Flint, we need more upliftment. We need more be optimistic about the future. We need to be thinking positive, right? And sometimes we'll laugh things off, but I'm optimistic about after November. I got to be honest.
That's right.
I
That's
am
right.
too.
Well, as a community, I think we need to do one final cry because crying starts the healing process. So let's cry, let's heal, and then let's
Restoration.
Let's value and
Healing.
love each other. Let's show each other how much we respect one another. Like even when y'all come in after November or next year when you take the office, y'all should be building and keeping that love and value. Listen, we gonna carry this out for our
Change
6
the
years.
narrative of what we got.
I'm trying to tell you, y'all got the wonderful opportunity to change the world view of Flint City Council.
That's right. That's
We
good.
looked at the past, we know
Come on
everybody
now.
the past, they see that. So you show them something different.
Mhm.
You show them y'all getting business done. Y'all not
Come
in
on.
there for 8-10 hours.
Yeah.
But you in there operating because you got getting part-time pay. So you know what I'm saying? Make it make sense. But get the business done,
Mhm.
Yes.
right?
Take care of the constituents.
And then us as
That's what I have
community,
to say.
we gonna make sure we come out and vote.
Come
We're
on.
gonna be at the meetings.
Come
We're
on.
gonna anytime Laura got something going on at the school board
Yeah.
or the folks
Gonna
at the
be
school
there
board, we support.
to
We
support
coming in
her.
there with droves,
Yes.
right? And we come in there speaking with points of emphasis, and we talking about what we want. And
That's
we
right.
starting with goals.
That's
Right?
right.
Your brother said it best.
Starting
We're gonna
with
have
goals. And having the
We're
goals,
gonna carry them
we're
out.
gonna have the goals written down.
Yeah,
But they're gonna be plain and simple.
10-point plan, 3-point plan.
No big drama.
Mhm.
We ain't gonna have try to do no PowerPoint. It's gonna be plain,
Mhm.
old fashioned way.
That's right. That's right. So we got a few comments I'm gonna read off to you today.
Okay.
It said tonight's show was great and fun. I think everybody enjoyed the show.
Thank you.
We got a Steve Barber for the ninth ward. Okay, we're gonna roll with this on that one. We got trust more humble servants and less attitude. Come on, let's be more humble servants. We are servant leaders.
Yeah.
And you know, I know
Whether it's on council or
Everyday life.
Everyday
next door
life.
on the
neighbor.
block, right?
Yeah, on the block.
You are a servant leader everywhere you are, right? AC Dooms is trying to get WT Stevens and Tony Browder paid. Neely, we gotta pay that brother Tony. Browder.
Man, come on,
That's
man.
crazy.
Crazy.
To have that outstanding bill, and that brother came here and put the work in, and not to be paid. That's crazy.
And go ahead and get paid, but not.
Pay that man, and then WT Stevens too, because they did the work.
They did the
Even
work.
when they feel like they didn't clean up their spot or whatever,
They did the
cleaned
work.
up. They did the pipe replacement. They hired a bunch of folks from the community.
Come on, from the
that
community.
was from this community.
And they
And
wasn't
we
lazy.
appreciate that. They weren't lazy.
They weren't
really
lazy.
learned the skill, and
Yeah.
they're doing great things. A lot of them brothers is doing really great now.
Right, right, I
And I'm
know.
glad to see that. And we want to make sure that WT Stevens is paid. So man, don't get off your high horse, right? Come on down to where the regular folks is and cut the check, right? That's what them folks want, right? We would appreciate it, right? Okay, that was Lord, you got a shout out. Let me know about the study group. He said, let
Okay.
her know. Becky said, let her know about the study group.
All right then.
Right. Best to all the candidates. I'm sorry.
Good job.
Nick from UK. He said, vote for sanity.
My man,
Love
vote for
from
sanity.
love from UK. Okay, what's up, Nick? You watching the show from UK?
You trying to have sanity.
That's
Right.
my mate.
That's your mate?
That's my mate. The whole world is watching.
Man, come on now, come on.
Right.
Come on. Good job, man. Big shout out to you, Nick. Miss Claudia, the legend, the queen. Okay. Police to be residents. I know
Yeah.
Miss Claudia is current police right now / resident. And she is, taking names and doing well. Yeah, man, Flint schools really was better. Were the Flint schools really better in the past?
Yes,
Oh, man.
yes.
Yeah, they were.
Yes,
I would
yes.
say they were
Yes.
better in the past than what we see now.
Oh, yes,
I'd
much
say
better.
that.
Much better.
We're segregated.
The concept and things could be developed better. But that's what we want. We calling out, fathers and mothers. Continue to raise your children, do the best you can. We want to make sure our fathers, stepping up because it's 100%.
100.
We do a program and we be starting in Southwest, in
Mhm.
November in
Yep.
DTL.
Yep.
We greet the students on Mondays,
Oh,
every Monday.
Let me do that right now. Again, need all our listening orders and you guys that are here.
Mhm.
This Monday coming up, we will be at Southwestern greeting students as they come in. We need you guys there about 7:15 would be wonderful. Students guys coming in about 7:30. So again, we do, right now we're doing 6 schools a month. We do school on the 1st, the 2nd Monday of the month, the 3rd Monday of the month, we do 2 schools. 4th Monday of the month, we do schools, and then sometimes we got a 5th. So again, we need our community. Again, Southwestern High, this Monday coming up. I'll be there 7:15.
Mhm.
Kids start coming in about 7:30, and we are practicing social distancing.
Right.
We 6 feet from them. But what we try to do is encourage, motivate, and excite them as they getting in, coming through the metal detectors. Our goal is trying to do all we can to inspire, to motivate, and spark the mind of our young people that they can really be the great people that God has created them to be. So we need you guys to spread this out to the community. My personal phone number is Mr. Roberts, Black Lives Matter, Flint. Phone number is 810-394-4105. Email is mentorroberts@gmail.com. If you guys need to hit me up.
Say the number again.
Any information. 810-394-4105 is my personal phone number. Again, so I do have a schedule that I can send out to you if you're interested. That way you can share with your fraternity group, your businesses. We want all people from all walks of life to really help to create an atmosphere where our children can feel excited about coming to school. Thank you.
Amen.
And then definitely, we also appreciate everybody who tunes into the broadcast and who comments, who watches the show after the fact, and provides all the feedback. We really appreciate all of it because, like we were talking about earlier, these are very nurturing conversations, and sometimes it sounds funny, but the thing is, more or less, it's very serious. And so we appreciate folks tuning in, even just giving their perspective from different topics. So man, that means a lot. And so even to keep those things going, we do appreciate because We depend on the donations and the contributions and resources to keep things rolling. So if you want to make a contribution or donation toward the broadcast, we do have a PayPal, we do have a Cash App as well. Just so that way, we can continue to get the message out there, continue to be a platform, and continue to keep the lights on.
Mhm.
Important.
And I was gonna say that if there are any young ladies out there that need mentoring or want to learn how to parent better or any of those things, call me, 810-691-9398.
Excellent.
Got anything?
You know, I'm just happy to be here. You know, I'm humbled that you guys have faith in me that I can deliver what we need. So I just more open conversation. If I'm fortunate enough to get in, make sure you hold me accountable. Make sure you point me in the right direction if I steer right.
That's real.
So that's
Daddy.
all.
That attitude will keep you in position for a long time.
Well, you got to back it up. They got to have results.
Brother,
I can't just talk
what's
about
your last 4 digits of your number? I'm putting it in the chat.
4105.
So then also we do have the BLM holiday drive taking place December 18th. So we are accepting donations. So if you have winter wear, we're accepting socks, clothes, all new things.
All
right?
new items.
We had over 1,000 cars last year.
Yeah, over 1,000 cars.
It was cars from the building that was wrapped around the building all the way down to the jail. And it was just so much that we didn't even realize that it was that many people. But the need was great.
Yeah.
And I think more or less we do want to be able to get donations, but we want to have all new things.
All new.
We gave away a bunch of stuff last year.
Mhm.
But let's keep it to new, new drawers, new socks, right? New t-shirts, gloves, hat, scarves, those things, coats, shoes, right? Whatever you want to go ahead and do. Toys, because we want to make sure our children, they've been challenged, through these last couple of years. So we want to just make sure that they have, a good holiday. So we are accepting donations. You can bring them down to the building, 2712 North Saginaw Street, right next to Job Corps, or you can contact one of us on the show, and we'll make sure we'll filter that for you. So we greatly appreciate all the support.
And we want to brag about was able to send some items down to the border for our brothers and sisters that was coming in the border. So, that's something we're proud about, that we're able to send some items down to the border. And again, it's about us, and like Brother D was saying about how we can be servants to one another, how we really can be stewards to humanity. And that's what our biggest goal is, because we are going to leave, we are going to die, but we can choose how to live.
Yes, that's right. Well, I enjoyed myself on the Fli-City, and thank you so much for having me this evening.
Well, thank you for being a part of it.
We always appreciate you. Definitely big shout out to you, Dennis, man. I think, you made some leadway and some headway, man. I'm rocking with you.
Yeah.
I think the team rocking with you. So we look forward to seeing a great turnout next week. We can't emphasize enough. We'll put those pics up there. Like we gave transportation information out for those who need to get to the polls. Be there or be square.
Amen.
And again, another thing, involved dads, greeting students, this Monday, 7:30 at Southwestern. And again, remember, all of us have a responsibility to do something as opposed to complaining. We didn't do our history impact, so we will be doing it. We will be doing it next week. Oh, we're gonna close.
Take it out.
Oh, well, we're gonna close out with the history impact.
Come on now, just make some noise.
Yeah.
You want to do what everybody on here? I'm gonna put it on you.
Oh, I can do it with everybody here.
You want to? Oh, go ahead.
Okay, well, again, this segment of our history impact, we are dealing today with Elaine, Arkansas. You say Elaine, Arkansas. What happened in 1919 in Elaine, Arkansas? Well, you asked me what happened. A brother named Leroy Johnson had just fought in France, and he had got injured, got shot up over there in France fighting for his country. And he was pulled off the train and killed along with his 3 other brothers. And this happened in 1919 in Elaine, Arkansas. What happened down there in Elaine was these sharecroppers were kind of boycotting and protesting the way they were being treated by the white landowners, right? So they was organizing in a church, and the white farm owners came by and started shooting up the church. And so the black people started returning fire, you know. The next day, Governor Charles Burrow of Arkansas sent out 500 troops from Camp Pike to engage in putting down this so-called dispute with the workers, the black workers, and the farm owners. Well, you know what happened when they sent out the troops, over 600 black men, women, and children were slaughtered. Black people was put on trial or were charged. No white person was charged for this situation. The governor, just like Governor Snyder, wasn't charged for the water here. So this example about this event is called the Elaine Massacre in Arkansas in 1919. And again, a lot of times what we try to bring to our community is history impact to inform how history is present today. And if we really don't engage in some changing of behavior, it will happen tomorrow. And so this Elaine Massacre is what is identified as in the history book. Many people don't know anything about it because, again, when you have power to control the narrative or the story, then a lot of times you're going to make yourself look like you were an angel. So what we're trying to do is making sure that we bring in factual information to our community so we can understand how the present is so important with understanding where we come from and what we're dealing with today and how we can move into tomorrow. So this massacre that took place, when we think about how simple these people were just saying they did not want to continue to work for these white farm owners. The black people were sharecroppers, and they were being cheated out of their wages. They weren't being lazy. They wanted to work for a fair wage. The white landowners was like, no, you get whatever we give you, and if we don't want to give you anything, so what? And then you got black people coming home from World War I and fighting for this country and being lynched and killed with their uniforms on. They got their uniforms on, man, and they still getting killed. So a lot of times we talk about, well, what's going on with George Floyd and policing and all these kind of things, and don't realize that, you know, policing was started to catch runaway slaves and to make sure white property is being protected. So never get that twisted. So a lot of times when we talk about policing, we got to know how policing started in America. Right. And then we got to be bold enough to say, if you're going to reinvent policing as far as how it's going to be humane, again, there's no reason in the world to choke Eric Garner, Sandra Bland, or the list go on and on and on, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin. There's no reason for people to be dead when you are paying somebody a good wage to legally kill another person. So again, in the context of this history impact, it's just so important that we understand what we're dealing with here in America. And so I just thank you all the time, Brother Hubert Roberts, director of our mentoring program at Black Lives Matter Flint. Again, my number again is 810-394-4105. mentorroberts@gmail.com is my email. Love to hear from you guys. And again, Wakanda out.